This is the April meeting of the commission, and the Laura, take the roll. I don't like using the word clerk.
Commissioner Curran?
Here.
Commissioner Floyd?
Here.
Commissioner Harper?
Here.
Commissioner Miletus?
Here.
Commissioner Reval?
Here.
Chair Rosenbaum?
Here. The first item on the calendar will be contested case hearings and presentation of oral argument on exceptions to the proposed order issued by the Office of Administrative Hearings. Arguments may be presented by staff, licensees, permittees, and applicants. It's all yours.
Good morning. It's my understanding that the licensee's attorney would be here this morning. I'm just wondering if...
Lucky spot.
Yes. Where's your attorney? Okay.
So there's no counsel present?
There is not counsel this morning, Your Honor. When I spoke with him last night, he led me to believe that he would be here to present the licensee's perspective. So why don't I begin by introducing myself, and then we can get to that issue. My name is Mary Ann Christian, and I'm the case presenter with AP&P. To my left is Dina Thompson. She is the manager for licensee Lucky Spot. At issue in this case is whether licensee's employees served alcohol without service permits. By way of review, there are 3 steps to obtaining a service permit. First, an applicant must apply for it. At the time that the 2 employees began their employment, the OLCC was using the paper application system. The applications required that 1 copy be posted at the licensees and another copy would be mailed into the OLCC office, along with the applicable fees. The next step is to take a class to learn the responsibilities of having a service permit. There are 21 vendors that offer those classes, both online and in person. The final step to getting a permit is to take a test that shows competency and understanding of the rules and responsibilities of the permit. This step also requires that a fee be paid. All of this has to be accomplished within 45 days of the application being received by the OLCC. In this case, we have 2 employees who filled out the paper applications but never mailed them in or paid the applicable fees. It's for this reason that the administrative law judge concluded that there was no application filed for Dobeck and Chandler, who are the employees, and that there was no 45-day waiting window in which the employee could mix, sell, or serve alcoholic beverages while waiting for the service permit. Commission staff agrees with the findings of the administrative law judge and recommends that the commission adopt the proposed order as the final order. Licensee did file 2 exceptions to the proposed order, which normally their counsel would be here to address. So at this point, if there are questions for me, I would be happy to take them, and then we can move on to the...
I just got one question. How did we get here?
What do you mean?
How did we get to this point? There was no compromise, no suggestion of an agreement of some sort. Was there any discussions about this? I mean, you know, I'm the worst critic when it comes to these things where I say that we're too lenient on it. Mm-hmm. How did we get to the point that we're in front of the commission today on this? Was there any discussion for an agreement?
Yes, Chair Rosenbaum and members of the commission. We have a standard practice to offer a settlement agreement in a case like this, which would have allowed the licensee to pay a lower penalty, either financial or number of days with their license suspension. Licensee opted not to take the settlement and instead went on to hearing, and they have now filed exceptions to the order that the administrative law judge issued, which is how we got before you.
Does anybody else have the same questions I have on this?
Sure. I have sort of 3 questions. All right, in the report, it states that something, a date change from June 1st, and they filed in regards to having a rule change. Was there some situation that we at the commission sent some documentation out to all of our licensees in regards to a rule change in regards to getting your workers permit?
Commissioner Harper, we did not have a rule change. On May 1st of 2018, we went to an online application system where applicants would go online to the OLC website. They would input their information, and that would be the item that would start the 45-day window clock for them to finish the process. Okay. That May 1st deadline or beginning of that program is not relevant in this matter. Both employees, neither of them mailed in their applications, so there was never an application filed by them. But had they sent them in, their 45-day windows were both over by the end of April. And so the May 1st information just muddies the water because it's simply not relevant to what we're discussing.
All right, thank you. And the second question was in regard to, did these two people requesting a permit, did they know they could just come here to the commission and start the process right here at our office? Or did they know they could just come here and talk to the people at the front desk and get this taken care of? Or did they make that action?
Well, Commissioner Harper, I can't say with absolute surety what they did or did not know. It is my understanding that the manager of the business, Ms. Thompson, gave them instructions on what they needed to do, which included fill out the paper application, post it. Why the applications did not get mailed, I don't know. But it's very clear from the record, from the testimony that both employees gave, that they did not mail them. They did not pay their fees.
All right. So in my final question that pertains to the chair, what's the price of a worker's permit, and in regards to if they would have took this penalty from the beginning, what's the difference in fee and fine?
Great question.
I don't know the cost of the permits or the test.
So workers permit is
I think it's like
45 bucks.
Maybe even less.
That's the fee.
$20 to take for the application.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the fine is how many thousand?
Well, if we were to go with the full fine, we're looking at 19 days, or excuse me, 12 days. So it would be 12 days of license suspension or a civil penalty of $1,980 to the licensee.
And Chair, I don't want to change precedents either. I understand we do have standards, so I just wanted to bring that up in regards to what we're doing here at the commission. So I look forward to hearing what Ms. Thompson has to say. Yeah. Thank you.
Are there additional questions for me? Okay, normally at this point we would have licensee's attorney presenting. Attorney is not here, and staff does have an objection to Ms. Thompson presenting on behalf of the licensee. We, under the Oregon Administrative Rules, LLCs are required to have an attorney do these presentations. We don't have a system in place for employees to make presentations. Ms. Thompson is not the licensee. She is not an attorney. And we simply don't have a mechanism for this licensee to be presented by a lay member of the company.
So what are you asking us, not to listen to her testimony?
That her testimony should not be allowed because it's simply not allowed under the rule.
Can we hear your objection and allow her to speak?
Yeah,
Is
we
that-
can.
I mean, I think that would be. Is that okay?
It's up to you.
Yeah, that's what I think we should do, but Commissioner Rizal.
I agree that we're going to hear the objection, and I'm going to vote that we allow you to speak. However, I think you're being thrown under the bus.
Pardon me?
I think you're being thrown under the
Thank
bus.
you. I feel that.
By your boss and by your boss's attorney. So
Okay. Thank you.
you're at a great disadvantage here.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Dana Thompson here, manager at Lucky Spot. I have been at Lucky Spot almost 5 years. I have been the sole manager responsible for every employee that I've hired. There's been probably 15 to 18, maybe 20 people that I've hired. From day one, I've had the same exact consistency plan for every employee that I've had. Every employee, day one that they get hired, both of these employees were hired just maybe a week apart. They were both given the exact same form. Apparently, there was some kind of a process change May 1. We were not informed of that. There is nothing that comes out to all the managers saying, this is a new process. I did the same process I had done for 5 years. In fact, we use the AACEA website. I've used that same website for all 15, 20 staff that I've had. We've never had a problem, not one single time in 5 years. We've never had a violation. I've had plenty of OLCC staff in and out of my place. There's never been an issue. AACEA program has been up and running from the day one that I've been there. All my staff have used it. There's never been a problem. In this situation, I had 2 of my staff come together to me, and they said, we felt, and let me back up, there were service permits, there were temporary permits that were posted when Mr. Welp came in. So those were on the board for both of my staff. The time frame had just past the 45 days. But prior to him coming in, the staff had come to me a couple weeks prior to that, and they said, Dina, we're having problems with this website. So in the documentation that I believe that I gave to them, I don't know if you have all of that, it's a wealth of information that basically outlines from the date that we began calling OLCC here, as well as the program. The program did tell us that they were having problems in the last 14 to 21 days. The program kept going up and down, up and down. The staff told me the specific issue was they did pay it. One staff had proof that she paid it. It came out of her account. And every time they tried to lock back in, it would throw them out. They couldn't get in. At that point in time, we sat down together. We called the AACA program. That's what they told us. They were having problems. Bear with them. They were working on it. Because I'd used that for 5 years, 15, 20 staff, there'd never been a problem. I said, okay, let's do what they say. We, at that point in time, called the Oregon Liquor Control Commission. I also informed them the problems that we were having. At that point in time, they did say there's other websites that they could go to. However, again, I'm just going back on my 5-year history with no problems with the program. And they said there was issues, just keep trying, they'll be able to log back in. My staff was already in the midst of doing this and had already paid. So in order to go back out and go into another program would require them to pay again. So that's where we were at working on those issues. We had contacted AACA program 2 or 3 different times, also Oregon Liquor Control Commission, to say that we were having the problems. Mr. Welp came in, contacted Jessica. She explained exactly what we were doing, that we had made the phone calls. He didn't care. A while later, we got the fine violation, had a hearing. The attorney did represent us at that point in time. The only other thing I just wanted to add to this is, other than just the fact that this is what we went through, and again, consistency, there had never been a problem in 5 years. If I had had violations prior or problems with the AACA program, I would immediately said, don't use this program, go somewhere else. I worked for the Oregon Department of Corrections as a lieutenant for 16 years. I take my job very seriously. I don't, the owner asked me to come in lieu of the attorney because he knows my seriousness about this. I take this very seriously. The other issue I just wanted to say is, a couple weeks ago, I have yet another staff member that had taken her test.
Excuse me, if I might just interject right here. The only things that the commission is permitted to consider are things that were in the record at the time of the hearing. And so would just object to anything from that may have happened since then being presented or considered.
So noted.
Yeah, this was
Chair Rosenbaum.
this was just some contact.
Sorry.
It doesn't seem to be.
Okay.
She's checking, so speak loudly.
Okay,
It can't be on the record.
I have no idea. Can you give me just a second?
I can hear you.
So I am not sure what, if anything, that was just said to you is on the record because I'm not part of the contested case hearing. And so it is true that you are confined to the record, but I do want to point out because I assume that there's a lot of information that you were just given that you do want to consider. You do always have an option to remand back to the contested case process with instructions to the ALJ to take additional information and testimony and make it part of the record. But you are limited to what was in the record, what was testified to, what evidence was presented. And again, I wouldn't know that. The case presenter would know that. But just so you know, that is an option.
We're limited in consideration. We're not limited in listening to what the person has to say. There's a difference.
There is a difference, but when it comes right down to it, it would be really hard to delineate on what basis you've made your decision if you hear a whole bunch of additional information. So it's just parsing it out at the end of the day.
Are you saying that we can't make that distinction, Commissioner Rubin?
Chair Rosenbaum, I don't think that this young woman can present information that's not in the record for us to consider.
All right, thank you. We'll cut it short at that point. Before we go into executive session, anybody have anything to say?
Chair,
Yes.
I want to share that I know that from an industry standpoint, you're not unique to this case. That there's been a lot of people out there that have shared your very same experiences with some of these glitches and issues. I've heard, a good handful of them, so you're not unique to this. So I hear you on your frustration there. I have to say, though, that in that we have a duty to stay compliant. We have a duty to mitigate our damages, and there's multiple online platforms besides the one that you discussed for your servers and bartenders to take that test. But I do want to share with everyone here that I have heard of these very same issues and glitches. So I know I hear you on the frustration part. Chair.
Hey, yeah.
I second what Commissioner Floyd said. This is making sure that these training platforms are up to snuff is key. And I think that if anything this case highlights is the fact that you maybe need to look at that a little bit more. So it's not without merit. So thank you.
One, I thank you personally for coming here today. Commissioner Revelle was correct. They threw you under the bus. When I first asked that question, what are we doing here today? I'm reading this stuff and saying, why are we here? The first three cases that we're going to look at today are service permit cases in which there's an agreement on. We spend a lot of time and effort, and I'm not directing this at you. I'm directing this for the people who are going to read this transcript today. If you're going to take the time and effort and the expense to go to a contested case hearing where you want this commission to look at it, then at least have the decency to show up with your attorney and listen to so that we can look at it and make a decision. It's really a disrespect to us to go to this lengths and then throw you under the bus on something that you really have nothing to do with, and I'm sure you did your job correctly. I just want to make a point that when you get to this level on it, we give our time and effort. At least we should be considering things that are worthwhile. That's all my point. Anybody else have any other? The commissioners will go into chambers for deliberations on contested cases pursuant to ORS 192.690 sub 1. We are now back in session. Commissioner Miletus?
Absolutely. In the matter of the limited on-premise sales license held by Lucky Spot LLC, doing business as Lucky Spot, I move to adopt the proposed order and to issue a final order suspending the license for 12 days. Licensee may pay a civil penalty of $1,980 in lieu of the suspension.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Harper?
Yes.
Commissioner Miletus?
Yes.
Commissioner Revelle?
Yes.
Chair Rosenbaum?
Yes.
And just a few comments on this. I think what all of us want to, or I'll speak for myself, I think what was important to note is the representative of the business. We appreciate the sentiments, and in no way is this a reflection on frustration with you. It's important, I think, as we've seen a few of these, for the owners, the licensees themselves to show up, especially when it's brought to this level. This is, this takes our time and attention, and for owners or their representatives or their lawyers not to show up is a bit of a challenge, and maybe a small source of frustration. This also highlights some of the issues that I think we're facing with the training, whether that's an issue of standards, whether that's an issue of whatever it may be. I think this is something that this commission should probably take a deeper look at. That being said, I think the decision we made was based on the facts as they were laid out.
Thank you, Commissioner. With that, we go into compliance. Welcome.
Good morning. Chair Rosenbaum, Commissioners. I'm Nicole Mitchell with AP&P, here to present the stipulated settlements for your consideration. This morning we have 5 alcohol cases, 6 marijuana cases, and 1 licensing case. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Let's separate the alcohol from the marijuana cases, please. Commissioners, on the alcohol cases.
Sure. I move to ratify the 5 stipulated settlement agreements, alcohol settlement agreements, as proposed by staff.
Commissioner Curran?
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Harper?
Yes.
Commissioner Molinas?
Yes.
Commissioner Reval?
Yes.
Chair Rosenbaum?
Yes.
Moving on to the marijuana cases. Are there any questions?
Commissioners? Could you tell me what the thinking was on number 5, the Green Acre Blend? There's, it's the classic example what I've been talking about for a long period of time.
Commissioner Rosenbaum,
Yes.
are you specifically asking about the facts in this case?
Cancellation and seizure and destruction. What is the, and I agree with that, by the way, but what's the thinking where on one case you have 8 violations and you ask for cancellation, on another case you have 7 violations and you give a fine? What's just the overall thinking in terms of what's distinction between 2 cases where one you give a fine to and the other one you ask for cancellation?
Thank you, Chair Rosenbaum. Specifically in number 5 and actually in number 6 as well, these 2 cases involve the sale of the business and surrender of the license. So this licensee will not be operating.
I understand that. So on number 4, now I just lost my place. One Family Farms. There's no, look, this is what I'm trying to get at, only for my own sake, because it's driving me nuts when I read this stuff. There's no conscious effort to divert product, but there's real sloppiness to the point of almost being careless in their operation, where it's going to end up that way. The other cases, there's diversion or there's reason for the cancellation. What's the difference between 4 and 5 in your mind? The family farms. That's what I'm trying to get at, because I don't want to make this every month the same thing. I don't want to separate it out and not vote on one of them. So give me your thought process on it.
Well, the commission looks at the category of violation in determining whether or not there will be cancellation of the license. And number 4, one family farms, we are looking at 3 category 3 violations and 1 category 4 violation. So because the category is not as significant as to the danger to public health and safety, this would be an appropriate case to settle versus cancel.
So it's danger to, that's what I'm trying to get at. I understand the categories. I'm just trying to, the thinking of the agency. If it's danger to the community where you have diversion and you have illegal sales or something along those lines, that's basis for cancellation. But if you just have 2-3 category violations that on cameras or whatever it is, that's not basis for cancellation.
Right, a category 3 violation would be violations that create a potential threat to public health or safety. Whereas, say, a category 1 is a violation that makes licensee ineligible for a license, or there's a very strong public safety factor to consider. And so those are, we have that in rule, and we base our settlement structure on how many violations there are in number, and then we look at the particular facts surrounding the violations. If there are several category 3 violations and that shows that the licensee is unable to control the premises, then that may be something that we consider in not moving forward with a settlement.
One last question, I'll leave it alone. On One Family Farms, did you ever consider cancellation of their license?
Given that there were 3 category 3 violations and 1 category 4 violations, and the penalty structure that we use, we wrote the notice not in considering cancellation.
And Steve, are we going to have a meeting on this again somewhere in the future for the commission, aren't we?
Yes.
That's why I'm bringing this up. I think it's really critical. Does any other commission, we don't, again, for the audience sake, we don't talk about these cases, we're not allowed to talk about these cases with each other, so that's why I bring it up here. Anybody have any comments on it?
Chair Rosenbaum.
Sorry, go ahead.
At this point, Commissioner Harper and I are kind of the old sage. So when we go back 5 years, and when I read this, Nicole, when I read these violations and what we're trying to do, this is 5 years in, guys. 5 years. I personally am very tired of hearing and going over how you get a license, when you're supposed to file your material, why is it taking so long, and we're not having conversations around the economic benefit of what we're trying to accomplish here. So when I look at these violations that I see here, and I see people being able to walk into a premise that's supposed to have an alarm, and it is disconnected, which is why you can walk into the premises, steal everything, and maybe hurt somebody. It is the industry still needs to understand that this is not a Cheech and Chong movie. This is supposed to be a business. One of the things we did as an organization, for those who don't know, we held meeting after meeting after meeting on how to become a business person. Some people have gotten it. Apparently some people have not. So when I see what the organization is doing around fines, I get it why some is negotiated with and some needs to simply go away. We need to change this conversation around what we're doing and how we move forward, because very shortly other states will be in a competitive situation. And when the industry, the men and women who are doing this, not us, if you don't get it, some other state will take your business. And it has nothing to do with how aggressive we are on our rules and regulations, because we can only put it out there so much about how to be in business. And Commissioner Harper is a big fan of trying to help keep people in business, but it's getting a little tiring when you don't get it. And then you have people in the business who are complaining about the prices crashing through the floor. Well, perhaps if you ran a better business, the market wouldn't crash through the floor. So I get what you're doing and why you're doing it, but that's where we are, Chair, isn't that set 5 years later?
And I
Thank
echo,
you.
yes, Commissioner Reval. There are a lot of people waiting in the wings who want licenses and who are going to be coming behind you. And we've got people who want to do this correctly. So I think it's really important for you to remember that this is a fast-moving, fast-growing industry. And if you don't comply, you are going to be weeded out. There are people out there who are willing to make the investment, make the time and the effort it is to comply. And so if it's greed to appeal to you that for your own pocketbook, for the licensees out there, there are more coming. There are people that want to do this right. And so it's important that you comply.
Out of fairness to everybody else too, that is following the rules, it's not this compliance there's a lot of standards. There's a lot that went into it. And as Commissioner Reval mentioned, the agency took a lot of time to set up business advisory and to kind of connect everyone in the industry. And so I think that where we're at now, I think the OLCC acting as the regulator has to make sure that these are taken seriously, that everybody that's in the industry is following these rules, that a lot of time and attention was spent creating. And I think that it's not fair to the folks that are doing that we don't see in here. So I think, and it's a balance. This is still federally illegal, so we have to temper any of that with this. That we're as an agency making sure that we're keeping our house in order. So I'm similar sentiments to everything that was said. I think, but from an industry perspective, I think it's imperative that everybody just gets our house in order so we can continue to evolve and see this thing be a fantastic industry.
Anybody else? This is the reason why I bring this up all the time, because this is the only place we have a chance to talk in open public and that we can discuss our perspectives on this. So, Steve, there's a overwhelming majority, I think, on the commission that wants to look at this. And maybe in May, can we have a working session after the commission meeting on?
It's today.
Probably June.
It's today.
June?
Thank you.
Are we gone for May?
No, we'll be someplace else.
Huh?
We won't be here.
Maybe a conference.
Chair, we're scheduled for
Yeah,
our
we have
working lunch to begin looking at sanctions
When's that?
today at noon.
Today.
Or
Oh,
when we finish this, yes.
wonderful. I didn't read that.
We took you at your word last time.
That's even better. Thank you.
Chair.
Okay.
I move to ratify the 6 marijuana stipulated settlement agreements as proposed by staff.
Commissioner Curran,
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Harper,
Yes.
Commissioner Melinas,
Yes.
Commissioner Reval,
Yes.
Chair Rosenbaum.
Yes.
And we have the one licensing case for you to consider.
Chair,
Yes.
I move to, does anyone have any questions? No. I move to ratify the stipulated settlement agreement for David's Breakfast and Steakhouse as proposed by staff.
Commissioner Curran,
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Harper,
Yes.
Commissioner Melinas,
Yes.
Commissioner Reval,
Yes.
Chair Rosenbaum.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Rosenbaum, Commissioners.
Thank you both. Retail services. Our friend Brian, come on up. Here we go.
Yes.
I'm going to spread out over here. We have a fair amount of maps today. Laura, you have the PowerPoint.
Of what?
PowerPoint.
But that's for grants past second struck.
But also disappointing.
Ready to go?
We're ready.
Okay, Chair Rosenbaum, Commissioners, for the record, I'm Brian Fleming, Director of Retail Services. Under your first appointment, we have 3 applicants today for 1147 Willamina. This comes as a result of resignation from the current agent at the hardware lumber store. And with that, I'll bring up applicant number 1, Rapal Johal. Sorry if I pronounced it incorrectly. And for all of you, please remember to state your name for the record and introduce yourself. And you'll have 5 to 7 minutes tops for your proposal. Okay. And that guy over there times us.
I time you.
Oh, yeah.
You get 7 minutes.
Are you going to be as tough as Tommy?
Nobody's tough as
So you guys just remember it. And speak into the microphone if you would, please.
Okay.
And a copy for myself. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Birpal Jahal, and I have owned 7 stores here in Oregon. And I moved from California. I worked 10 years in liquor store, and I own liquor store in California, sold and moved here. So we own Willie Manor 5 years, and I've been working in the liquor almost 24 years, and I have never sold any minor anybody yet. So everything is going good, and Randall is running the Willie Manor Select Market. He's been working with 9 years now, and he will tell you more things. My name is Randall Hauser. I've been working with Paul for 9.5 years, but I've been doing retail since I was 16, 43 now. Our location in Willamina, we have a full-based grocery store. We do hot deli, produce, fresh meat. It's a typical grocery store. We also do bill pay, ODFW fishing licenses, Western Union, money orders. We have the biggest parking lot in town. We've got 4 entries, 4 exits, and we have a LED sign outside that we can change each week for our ad. Our customer count is approximately 800 a day, so we've got high traffic in the store. And right now we have about 16 employees. Each one has already been trained. We sell beer, of course, so everybody is trained on checking IDs, and we plan on getting there's a scanner if we end up getting the liquor store. And we've also placed the liquor store inside of the store so the actual grocery store, the checkers can see what's going on over there to prevent theft. And we also have about 42 cameras within our store, so we've got a good surveillance system. So our biggest priority is customer service, making sure that we follow the laws on selling liquor to minors, and security. We will definitely have signage out front if we do get the liquor store. And what else? Yeah, and where we have it placed now in the book, as you can see, we can make that bigger, smaller. We just weren't sure how much space we would need until we found out. So that's why we put it inside that area. Huh? So hopefully we are granted the.
You got 3 minutes.
Come on, I talked as much as
As Commissioner Raval said, you have 3 minutes. I think it would be to your advantage if you stick to your program. Can you? Is this yours?
Yeah.
So if you can open up to your description and share with the commissioners, because this will be helpful for us. You have maybe 2 minutes now to do it, because the next two groups are going to understand that if you give us something to go page by page, we do go by that.
All right, I didn't.
Yeah, we're really slow up here.
Take the picture. That's
Yeah,
what he's
so
asking.
if you look into your photos, right now we've got the ice and part of our produce.
Yes.
Our produce expands about 36 feet, so we plan on cutting out footage in the produce because everything's spread out at this point. We have certain stuff we sell, so, and then the ice machine will go, and that's where we plan on putting the liquor store. And on the third pictures, that's our street side entrance, and that's our sign. We'd have to switch our sign to say Willamina Select Market and Liquor, and we'd put an illuminated sign up there saying liquor out front so people know. And then this is our parking lot entrance. Those are automated doors on the next page. And the liquor store would actually be on the other side of the brick. The liquor portion of the store would be on the other side of the brick. And that's our LED sign that we can change from the computer in the back, advertising everything that we would like to advertise. We usually put our ad up there, but we can put liquor specials or whatnot on that sign as well. And then, as you can see, our parking lot, there's two entrances on the street side. There's an entrance on all three street sides because we're surrounded by 3 streets. And we do own the grocery store, so we're not leasing the store. And we have it's not really in the picture, you can sort of see it, but we got a restaurant in the parking lot as well that we own, and a doctor's office. So all that's inside of our parking lot.
Yeah.
Doctor's office, just a liquor store.
What's that?
Just kidding. Nothing.
A little nervous.
That's okay. They don't bite. See?
No, that's okay. So, and I was
Nice.
going in now. Could you introduce yourselves again?
I'm
how
Randall
you're-
Hauser. I'm the store manager
Okay.
for the store.
And
I'm Bill Pajo.
Okay.
I own the store.
you're the owner. Okay.
Yeah.
Chair?
Yes.
And this is for Brian. Brian, is this the same location where the liquor store is currently, or are we moving?
Chair Rosenbaum, Commissioner Harper. The store is resigned. It was in the lumber hardware store, been there for years. She's chosen to resign, and so it will move to another location. There's 3 different locations proposed here, all in Willamina community. Does about $475,000 annually.
Okay, and this location is right across the street.
Kitty corner.
Kitty corner, yeah.
Thank you.
Willamina is small enough that if you located it 2 streets, 3 streets,
Yeah.
they're all right there. So,
Okay. Thank you.
Chair,
Commissioner Floyd?
you mentioned something about not having a scanner, and that's probably something for inventory purposes that you would need to invest in. I'm
Oh,
curious.
no, we have, I'm sorry, I was meaning an ID scanner.
Oh, an ID scanner.
We have,
I got you.
we have a
Okay.
full-fledged iOS system, 4 check stands inside of our grocery store. So, and we have a different register for the bill pay and the money orders. So we've got we go through in-store technologies. We have a back office. We have everything already inside in the store.
Perfect. What type of POS system do you have?
We go through RBO, iOS.
RBO. And is that a robust enough system to where you would be able to keep adequate tracking of your inventory?
Yeah, we actually go through with our grocery supplier. They can track everything that we sell. We do scan downs because we get money back for certain items that we sell a lot of. So it's all connected.
Great. Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Commissioner Floyd, for clarification, it's an absolute must that they have to submit that electronically. So we'll take care of that end for any one of the applicants today, and you being somewhat new to the commission, required.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Meet a IT spec that we have, which is pretty simple.
You know what's
Thanks,
not
Brian.
required. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me ask one more question, Chair.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay. Do you live in Willamina? Owner?
No, I live in McMinnville, about 12 miles.
Right. So it says here you have 6 other businesses.
Yes.
Do you have any operations outside of the state of Oregon
No.
that you own?
No.
Okay, so that's
All-
prior.
yes.
You
Yeah.
prior.
Yeah, I moved from California. Yes.
And, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and kind of to tag on to what Michael said, you have 6 businesses. Will there be like a dedicated manager for just the liquor portion in this store?
Not right now. Randall do a really good job, and he management the liquor department too.
So the store manager would end up taking
take
on
over, yes.
additional responsibility.
Then we have to hire a couple cashiers, just the cashier to run the department.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody, you get 7 minutes. We can take as long as we want.
Just so you're clear.
Before you call thank you.
Before you.
Thank you.
Good.
Oh, well, I did.
maybe could
Actually,
Don't go anywhere. Come back.
one more question.
Sorry.
I was just reading this. Oh, you had one more.
No,
Sorry.
go. It's perfectly fine.
We're gonna test you here. It just says in your business plan that you have years of industry experience selling liquor, and so I was just wondering if you could explain the years of experience.
Yes, I moved from California. I worked 10 years liquor stores, and then
10
years.
10
then
years.
I owned liquor store for 5 years in California. Then I moved 2007 here and bought one store, and then I have 2007 here, almost 12 years here, running all the stores.
Chair, could I ask one more question?
Sure.
You mentioned you had involvement with liquor stores previously, and one of the things that's come up is we kind of have a dual role here in selling liquor, but also kind of trying to make sure that people that may have a problem with alcohol aren't. It's a balance we have to get. In your experience, how have you dealt with people that may have came into your liquor store and had an issue, or clearly had an issue with alcohol?
We just refuse them. As if we see something he's already drinking too much, then we just refuse the sale. Sale, yes.
Cool. And you've obviously experienced that.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We deal with it even now without a liquor store. We sell beer.
Beer, yeah.
So we have to refuse. We've trained everybody on that. So
cool. Thanks.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Yeah. So I'm looking at your.
You're really cooking with gas. This is interesting.
So I'm looking at your one of your concepts, and I realize it's just simply a concept.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've become big fans of store within a store scenario. Are you going to have would you have a cash register for
Yes.
this location?
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, no walking around the store. We're going to make sure it's secure. They can't just grab it and walk around and do grocery shopping.
Yeah, that's a big
we lose
no-no
too much
for us.
stuff that way already. So.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, with that, I'll bring out our second
Yeah, just
applicant.
One
Yeah.
second. Commissioner Floyd brought up an interesting subject. No matter what the system is, no matter what the POS system is, it's 45 days or later before we really have a real-time indication of what the sales are for the month. Each individual system has it, but the agency doesn't have it.
Chair Rosenbaum, so the daily or nightly transmissions through a point-of-sale system, we do have those nightly,
But you go ahead.
but it's not reconciled, so it's not used for the financial
Exactly
record.
my point.
Yes. However, we have an indication of yesterday or the day before, 24 to 36 hours as an update that's sent FTP overnight. So we could pull 15 days of sales and get close to it, but the reconciled is the financial.
Right. And
Yeah.
so it's imperative both for all of our agents, the agency, and everybody else to have an IT system that's in the 21st century. Right?
Duly noted and correct,
Yeah.
yes.
And that's
yes.
something that we're working on, correct?
Yes, very diligent.
All right.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Call your next.
Next
So-
individual is
He
Ramandeep,
means for us to be in the 21st century.
not you. So Ramandeep Kaur,
Yeah.
Thank you.
But what I don't understand is
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning. And just remember to state your name. Move the microphone a bit towards you, or you can slide it towards it.
Commissioner Rubel, you tell them when to start.
I love this job. Go.
Hello, my name is Ramandeep Kaur. I'm representing the Wilmina store. First of all, good morning, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to present to you today. I'm going to give you a little bit of introduction about myself. So my name is Ramandeep Kaur. I'm here with my husband, Verinder. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my education and my professional background. So I graduated from Concordia University with my degree in psychology, and I've been an operations manager for Center Market for over 8 years. Some of my job title duties entailed supervising and managing 13 different store locations all over Oregon. So some of my future and long-term goals is it's my turn to be an owner and operator of a business. That's why I'm presenting to you for the Wilmina liquor store. In front of you, you have my liquor store proposal. On the first page is just the store name. The second page just talks a little bit about my education experience. So as I told you before, I have my psychology degree as well as the 8+ years of retail management experience. It tells you a little bit about my the OLCC trainings that I'm a part of and the workshops that I do for my employees. Moving forward, it just tells you a little bit about the community roots, growing up in the Wilmina store, participating in the small events like we have, like for 4th of July, the parade, annually, all those sorts of things since I can remember. Moving forward. So there's our mission statement. So our mission is to serve the community of Wilmina by providing a modern retail space for the sale of spirits centered around providing high-quality customer service experience in a friendly and convenient and accessible way. Moving on to the next page. This is an image of our satellite. It's a satellite image of the proposed location. So you see where that area is. Just kind of gives you a little bit of an idea where I would be putting the liquor store. Moving forward from that. So it just shows you the previous liquor location as well as the proposed liquor location. So you can tell they're not very far apart. So pretty close in proximity. Moving forward, giving you some highlights of the store. Center Market has been in business for 15+ years. We are located center of the town, located on the main road. We have easy accessible parking. It's independently owned and operated within the C-store. As I said before, close to the existing liquor store. Moving forward. And this just gives you a visual image of the store. So this is the front image of the store, and if you flip over, it gives you an image of the back of the store. So you can see we have abundant space, lots of parking, very easy to get around. Moving forward. This is my proposed floor plan. To the right-hand side, you can see what we have is a C-store. It shows the beer coolers, what we have at the moment. And to the left, to the bottom left-hand side, it shows the proposed liquor store. So the prior liquor store that's in Wilmina is about 200 and I think a little over 200 square feet. So this one would be about 500 square feet, and right behind it we have the liquor storage, which would be about 260 square foot. So yeah, can move forward from that. Here's some interior design. These are just some ideas that I came up with. Something I would use as just as a visual guide. Following that, we have creating a new space and modern space. As you can see to the right-hand side, I'm really interested in the new modern flooring, the new shelving, the LED lighting strips, some modern color schemes, some category signage, and creative decor. Moving forward, so this would be a non-exclusive liquor store, as I said before, approximately 500 square feet with plus 260 for the storage space. We would use 90% of the space, the retail space, for display of sale of liquors, and then 10% of it for space mixers. So that way we maximize the square footage space to focus on spirits. Inside the store, we have items like snacks, hot deli, soda, cigarettes, lottery. This will help draw in traffic from the C-store and gain visibility. Going into the next, so the inventory control plan. So internal shelves no taller than 4 feet, register close to the entrance, exit to the liquor space, have 12 surveillance cameras, 24-hour live video streaming, lock glass doors to keep customers out after closing, separate entrance to subdivide the liquor store and convenience store, keep more expensive inventory close to register, employees trained to watch for shoplifters. And to the next. So customer experience. So offer convenience by expanding hours by operating Monday through Saturday, 10 to 10 p.m. and Sunday 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Section for new and upcoming products for introduction to customers, offer a friendly, welcoming environment, customer service oriented, being readily available on the floor for customer questions, have in-depth knowledge of all the products that are being sold, be clean, organized, fully stocked at all times.
1 minute.
Yes.
Oh, keep talking.
Keep going.
Oh, I thought you said 1 minute. Sorry about that.
Oh, you said 1 minute's better than.
Oh, okay. Being a responsible vendor, have the POS ID scanner software system, keep employees trained, appropriate signage, monitor employees' compliance trainings, and hold own stinks for 21 and plus customers, have signage that shows buying year and month date. Signage in store to prompt employees. So marketing influences, really use the social media to help utilize the social media to target 21 and over customers. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those sorts of things. I'm very tech savvy, and work with vendors to build seasonal displays for like Super Bowl, Cinco de Mayo, 4th of July, host tastings to draw in traffic. And there's just some of the next 2 pages are startup costs and some of my employee payroll, which is a projection cost. Following that, there's sales projections for 5 years using the liquor store that's been there now. And that is it. Thank you for your consideration.
Nicely done.
One question before we start is what happened to the old liquor store? I don't understand that. Why did they go out of business?
Chair Rosenbaum.
They're not out of business.
No.
Yeah, okay.
So the individual who runs and operates Willamina Liquor Store, it's in a lumber hardware store, with pressures of expansion, has decided to just focus on the small business they have.
Okay.
They put time and energy into liquor, and they're just kind of ready to move on.
Okay.
There.
Any
Chair-
questions?
Go ahead.
Ladies first. From a design standpoint, this is beautiful. I like the direction and where you're going here. I love the modern space, the look of it. It's a beautiful interior design. If this is what you're going after, so this is an impressive deck. What are your projected costs to update the space?
To update the space, so right here is like 38, sorry. So $38,444. Those are my projected costs, just with the shelving and the inventory and the lighting and advertisement, cameras, flooring, miscellaneous costs, tenant improvements.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Sure. You mentioned you were familiar with the Willamina community.
Mm-hmm.
You grew up there?
So I grew up in Salem, but as the store built, I've been part of the Center Market for a very long time. So I mean, I was there when we didn't even have that store, so helping build that store, going in there with my dad, helping with the tiles and the paint, being like, 12, 13 years old. So we're being really, really familiar with the community and the store, being in there on the weekends, helping with stocking and cleaning and just like whatever you could think of as growing up, and kind of growing into that now.
Nice. And And so it said you've managed retail before, a bunch of different locations.
So I'm the operations manager for retail for Center Market. I would oversee 13 stores. That's what I've been doing for the past some years. So I really just want to focus. So I think it's my turn to kind of build my own business, grow my own business, and this is why I think this would be a great opportunity for me to share with my husband.
Absolutely. And this would be your primary enterprise.
This would be my primary goal. So I am employed for, I don't know if you guys heard, LifeWorks Northwest outpatient chemical dependency clinic.
Oh, wow.
So which has been great. I've been with them for about a year, but I see myself building and helping a business grow. So would be my primary focus. So if I were to be appointed for this, I would obviously resign for that and then focus on this full time.
And you mentioned something about, what did you say you were doing?
Oh, right now at the moment. So LifeWorks Northwest outpatient mental health clinic, case management.
That kind of...
It's very different because as you can see my degree in psychology. So
that kind of ties into my next question was,
Sure.
I mean, I mentioned it before, but part of the nice part about the control system is, we sell liquor, but we also manage people that may have an issue. So
Yes.
so your background is
So I
sort
have
of
that
in
background with that.
addiction and things that you might be able to have an eye on.
For sure.
That's great. Cool. Very cool. Thank you.
And where are you living now?
So currently I'm residing in Salem. So if I were to be appointed, because I am in long-term goal is to own the C-store as well as the liquor store. So I would be residing in Willamina eventually.
Did you say own what, as well as the liquor store?
The C-store, the convenience store, the pictures that I just showed you, that.
The
long-term goal would be to own that store.
Own the supermarket?
Yes.
Okay.
So right now I would just be leasing.
Chairman,
Yes.
have you ever dealt with spirits, liquor, beer, wine?
Oh, yes. Beer and wine, not so much spirits.
Okay.
Just because at C-stores we don't sell spirits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
One of the values of having this proposal is we as commissioners really look at startup costs.
Mhm.
We look at floor plans. We look at color schemes. We look at, in your proposal, how you're going to work with local law enforcement in regards to being of value to them and the educational system we have for our kids.
100%.
We look at, past community support. I see that you have store hours from 10 to 10.
Mhm.
Share with me why you have those extended hours and why you feel in a town like a Willamina. From my understanding of going there, what else is open up at 10 o'clock? I mean, late.
Besides, I think, our store, which is 24 hours, so that would be open. The convenience store is 24 hours. But the liquor store, so that's why we were going with the 10 to 10 hours.
Oh, so this
We are open.
C-store
Is
where
open
you
for
currently
24
work
hours.
is 24/7?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so this would be inside the C-store. So,
Right,
I mean,
right,
yes,
right.
obviously we would have limited hours.
Okay.
So I just think
Okay,
Having-
that's news.
Yeah.
And then along with that, you talked about being customer service oriented.
Mhm.
What experience do you have working with the local high school and middle school and elementary school and supporting them and where they're gonna and where their push is for saying no to alcohol?
So being involved in the community, so we're part of like the Willamina High School with supporting like their soccer team and being a part of that. So if you're talking about in the sense of that,
Mhm.
yes, just being supportive and just donating, and then for a good cause, of course, keeping
Mhm.
kids busy in sports and all that sorts of thing.
Okay, and you said that you do not own the C-store, but
I don't.
your parents own it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that long-term lease you have is not a written lease. It's like, okay, mom, pops, like, I got this, or is it?
Well, that's
So-
better than a written lease.
Obviously with parents, yes. So I mean, if everything goes well, they will obviously would be more than happy. They want to see me flourish and grow, and they think this would be a great opportunity.
Because
Kind of
it
a little
look-
bit under their wing as well.
Right, because it looks like a little bit of construction inside
Yeah.
is going to have to take place,
Yeah,
and you
so-
feel that you can accomplish this within the time
100%.
constraints.
So, yeah, so
and
we have-
along with the colors and the expansion and the
Yeah.
ideas that we have here at the commission in regards
Mm-hmm.
to being able to be not only a friendly place, but a desirable place for all types of shoppers to come in.
100%. So the space is already somewhat there, so it's not something that's going to take months and months of construction.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, like the floor and the lighting and the color scheme. I mean, honestly, that's what really needs to be done. Maybe some of the there's like a bathroom in the middle, which I would have to take apart, get rid of that to have for that liquor storage area.
Okay, and then your current office is kitty quarter to the current liquor store now, also.
Yeah.
So you're over here, and the prior candidate that we just spoke to, he's back over here. Mm-hmm. But he has the largest parking lot in the city.
Sure. So, yeah, we have parking all around. So we have street parking on the front of the store, back of the store, right side of the store, and then this is the street.
But he has a parking lot.
He has full time, like a supermarket parking lot. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chair.
And, how you said it, but your parents are in direct competition with Willamette Market, the Select Market?
Your parents own Center Market.
Yes, Center Market. Yes, they own Center Market.
Center Market, who your parents own,
yes,
are in direct competition with Willamette Select Market.
Yes, all the stores.
And I think Michael said, how far apart are you?
I mean, we're not very far apart. We're very, I'm going to say blocks, couple blocks this way, couple blocks that way.
So it's very interesting because no matter how much you read this, you can't get a flavor for the people until we have these meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, you answered a lot of questions that I had, so I'm not going to go through them again. But I want you to think very carefully. First of all, is your husband going to be part of this?
So this is going to be a husband-wife run operation. So he's my right-hand man right here.
Are you sure about
What kind of experience have you had?
I had about over 10 years of running a convenience store experience.
Okay. All right, so
More
here's
day-to-day
my question,
operations.
which I want you to think very carefully about.
Sure.
Commissioner Floyd hit it right on the nose. These pictures are beautiful and very, now, is this a picture that you pulled out to show us, or is this something that you are going to actually initiate?
So these are some inspirational pictures. So, I mean, I would take the lighting from this picture, the color scheme from this picture, the wall fixtures from this picture.
So this isn't a concept that is exactly what you're looking at.
No,
It's
this
just
is
a
not a
concept.
100. It's just, there's some inspirations that I would use for
And
sure.
Commissioner Floyd had a good question on, you've got $14,000 total for reconstruction plus lighting on whatever you do.
Yeah.
So is this going to be even close to what you're looking at?
Well, these are just projection costs, so you really can't tell once you get in there. It could be more, it could be less.
Well, but your family owns the store, and you've got, from the convenience store side, you've already got shelving and stuff. So it's a lot of it's probably aesthetics that you're in, and control and security. So, and I can see it's, I think you had it. I saw that too. But I guess knowing that your family owns that property and already has existing stuff does kind of help.
That definitely helps, like with the surveillance camera and all that kind of stuff.
This is no reflection on you, I assure you. But what I did, unknown to Brian, is that I took the first year that I was here and we had all those stores. I took I saved this and I went into the store to see how close it was to what it was, and it wasn't anything like it. It was just totally different. And that, I never said a word about it, but that to me is very critical when I'm looking at the future, is how much should this commission rely on the photographs that are shown, because they're really they're not related between what they're saying and what they're doing. No reflection on you, I assure you. Mm-hmm. And this won't affect me one way or another, but I just want to bring it to the commission's. I actually went there and took a look, and I was laughing because there was no relationship.
Chair Rosenbaum, one of the things that is real, because colors do change, fixtures do change in terms of, they want to put their best proposal forward, obviously, everybody. More importantly, this proposal is incorporated as part of their agreement. So if they say they're going to add new fixtures, We're going to get new fixtures by way of your appointment, signage, LED lights. This plan will change, maybe not the silvers, maybe more browns, but we will have a point of sale system, security. Every bit of this is incorporated as part of their agreement. The actual physical fixture, when you build it out, does change color a little from the proposal, but the commitments in the list of things generally is all upheld. And we have some that look one way and look even better when they're done.
Okay.
So we'll get in the car. We'll go see some of these. I'd love to.
So would you be expecting to then resign at your current position?
Yes,
and
I would
donate?
100% resign. Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll bring up our last one from Willamina. Thank you. Satya Santok, Gurmeet Kaur. I hope I got it close.
Isn't his name Arun? Zara? This is his LLC. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Why am I having all this trouble? It keeps on going
Oh,
off.
much better. This is what I.
It drives me crazy.
And go ahead and state your name for the record, and then you can begin.
You ready here?
Yep.
Good morning, Commission. My name is Arun Basra, and he's my father, Dilbag Basra. And she's my grandmother, Gurmeet Kaur. She's the owner of Best Stop Market, and he's the manager of Best Stop Market. And we will be opening a liquor store in the Best Stop Market in-store business.
So, it's here?
Yes.
So you're going to be the owner.
I'll be the on-site
They just
manager.
own the building.
Yeah, we
You
were all
brought them up here
family.
for support.
Yeah.
Okay.
And where is this in relation to the other buildings? So is it close by as well?
Yeah, it is close by.
Close by.
Yeah.
Can you give us the address real quick?
What is it?
The address.
The address?
Address is 313 Northeast Main Street, Wilmina.
Oh, they're all on Main Street.
I think 2 blocks from.
Yeah, 2 blocks from the older liquor
Everything's
store.
within 5 to 6 blocks, I think, within all of these. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Right. For the record, I'm really nervous. Never done it before, so I would like to say that.
Okay, so lighten up, take a deep breath. You know, and I'm in business with one of my sons. I charge them a lot of money. So the parents that are out there, charge them a lot of money.
All right. I went to Sheridan High School, which is 4 miles from Wilmina, and I played soccer and football in Wilmina. The population is 1,000 in Wilmina. I'm pretty sure I know at least 900 people by name, and they know me by name, especially my dad. He's been working in Wilmina for 20 years, and he lived in Wilmina for same 20 years. And he works for some of the stores in Wilmina and ran that for 10, 12 years. So yeah, we have a whole family. Unlike the other stores, we'll be running, me, my dad, my grandmother, and my uncle will be running the place 24/7. Okay.
Just go page by page.
Okay, let's go by page. We have the best employees. We have the best employees to rent that place.
If you're comfortable, seriously, do it the way that you want to.
Okay, I'll just want to talk, then I'll come to the portfolio, if that's okay.
Go ahead, do it the
Okay.
way you feel most comfortable doing it.
Okay.
He's gonna scroll up.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah, our mission will be to provide the best customer service, and especially for our community, because people come there to make money, but we like to give away too. My dad, he's been with high school, with middle school, with all the activities that happen in town. We are daily involved activities, fundraising, whatever happened in Wilmina.
Maybe take them through your plan inside
Yeah.
the door. What you intend to do.
And with our plan, we like to get everything modern, new shelves, new lights, and we have installed 8 televisions in the store where we run the ads and where will be run the new inventory for the store, for the liquor. I'm sorry.
Improvement plan.
Commissioner Revolve, can I ask a question? 30 seconds. All right, so this is what I want to hear. It's a new building. The building looks like it's currently a garage, right?
Yes, sir.
What's your construction cost to modernize this to make it look like an appearance of a liquor store?
Sir, we used to work for 3 years ago. We used to work for the convenience stores on the minimum wage, all of us. Then when we opened, it was like all empty inside store. We are still working on that. We have the busiest store in Wilmina. We get most of the traffic.
So this store is busy, right?
Oh yeah.
What is the cost to upgrade your facility to house spirits? What's your cost?
For the liquor store?
Yeah. How much money is it going to cost you to? Are you going to paint the building? Are you going to put a sign out? Are you going to pave the front, create parking?
Yeah, we're gonna paint it. Then
How much money?
How much?
You got 20,000.
20,000. That's for the liquor store, just for the liquor store inside.
Exterior.
Yeah.
And then I see you. So just what I'm trying to get at is, it's going to cost you an initial cost, and we're trying to determine in regards to what you have saved up. If you worked in the building trade, I'd say, okay, I don't have to hear a number. But, you got 4 doors in the front. Are you going to keep the 3 doors?
So we have 2 main entrances, one on the right side and one on the front. We're going to keep both of them because we have a lot of traffic. So they use both the doors, and we will have a new paint and new signage. For that, we've already discussed in our family, and it'll be 20 grand for the liquor store, and we'll spend more, like 40 to 50. We are planning on getting the business loan, then we'll make it look like a brand new.
Chair Roosevelt.
Yes.
So how many parking spots do you have right now?
Sir, we have on the front, then on the right side of the building, then on the left side there's a church, which is a city parking where you can park at least 10 to 15 cars. So we have a capacity of 30 cars that can park around the store.
Thank you.
The church is okay with you using the parking?
Yes, sir. We are very involved with church, with the pastor, with the cities. They are okay with that.
Did you run into any situations where when you put in permits to change the building from the city that they will allow you to make these updates?
No, sir. They're always been very helpful. We know all of them, and they know all of us. If we have any problem, we go into them, and they just help us like in a day or two.
So I noticed this is a newer store.
Yes, ma'am.
It's 2 or 3 years old. And what was your experience before that?
Before that, ma'am, I used to work for the convenience store for 7 years. Then my dad, he ran the center market in Wilmina for 15 years. He was a manager before we opened up a new store. And I learned a lot from him. his experience, he works for 15 years, never had a ticket before. We never sold liquor to anyone under 21, and we'll like to do that for the rest. Yeah.
Sure. And just I asked the other two applicants, you kind of mentioned it, you're familiar with kind of dealing with people that may be coming in as a liquor store that may suffer with alcoholism or have issues with that. You've dealt with that in your prior experience in running a convenience store?
Yes, sir. We had a lot of issues because we are open 24/7. Sometimes customers comes after 2:30, or sometimes they come during the day. They are too drunk. When they walk in, we kind of feel the situation if they are angry or how. We try to keep them calm and try to pretty much refuse and tell them to leave and make sure they get home right, because it's a small community. We know everyone. We don't want anybody to get hurt. And if they don't listen, we just call the 911 and just tell them so they can get home safely. Yeah.
So are all the stores open 24/7 in this little city?
Sir, 2 stores. Our store, and we have a drive-through too, which is open 24/7. We have a lumber mill, sir, Hampton Lumber Mill. A lot of my friends that I graduated with, they go there and they work on night shifts. So they came back. They even call us ahead. Hey, can you guys make the food ready? So even the hot deli that we have, that ran 24/7.
Oh, okay. And then in your concept of the interior,
yes, sir.
I have a concern. Is that just a glass around and it's sort of small? What's your square footage?
Sir, it's a tobacco shop that we have. It's in 400 square feet. We're gonna take it from there to different spot and put a liquor store there.
So can you give me?
You got 300 square feet.
From there?
Yeah, 300 to 400 square feet.
You got room to expand if you want.
We can expand it,
Looks like
sir.
you can move it back.
Yeah, there's a lot of space. We counted it's like 300 to 500 square feet. Then we have 100 square feet for backstock.
And so this isn't a glass. This what you're showing. Is not
This is a ball, sir. That we'll put a ball so the kids can see it, and
it's a rendering. And then Commissioner Raval, he says 400 square feet. 300.
What it shows on here.
Yeah.
300.
300.
Right here.
Oh, okay.
So you're involved in the community?
Yes, ma'am. Highly involved in the community, and we give back too. We just had a fundraiser last month in front of our school. The kids sale, like the bake sale or whatever. Then the next week we're gonna have a car washing in front of our store that will help one of our in community, a person, he had a heart attack, so that money will go to him. So we are really involved in the community. If you go on Google, I mean, everybody goes on Google. If you check our reviews, it's like at least 100 reviews, and they are all 5 stars. There's not a single bad review. I'm sorry I didn't go to college, so my academic English is not, but
That's pretty good to me.
I don't go on Google. So,
you don't?
so I mean that suggestion wouldn't pertain to me.
No
I'm amazed again. The entryway to this, I really like your schematic here. There's only one door going into the liquor store. Are you going to have another door on the other side?
Sir, there's a 2 doors, sir. One right here, and the front main entrance.
So when you come into this one, you won't go right into the liquor.
You will. You can see it.
Oh, but you got to go around.
No, we'll keep it open on the both sides. This is just an idea that the walls will be created, but we have an entrance right here and the entrance on the other side, on both sides.
The question is, can he walk directly from outside into the liquor store?
No, not into the liquor store directly.
You have to go into the store and then...
Yeah, and then into the liquor store.
So let me tell you my thinking on this. There's 2,200 people in this town.
Yes, sir.
My first look at all 3 applications, I'm seeing the same store. Or basically the same store. And my first question in my mind says, whoever we give this to is going to have a competitive advantage. Then I'm looking a little closer. For you, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you're a convenience store, if that's the right word for it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm looking at Willamette Select Market, and sir, that's a supermarket at best, you can say, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my only question now is, we come back to Center Market, not the liquor store. Would you please explain to me from Center Market, what kind of store is that?
So we're a feed store.
A feed?
Store.
Convenience store.
You better come up here. I don't know. I can't hear. But I want to know, are you in direct competition with the Select Market?
We are.
You have the same type of produce?
Similar, yeah, similar types of products for sure. Not with the Select Market because it's more of a market, like a grocery store.
It's a grocery store.
You get milk?
Yes.
Like produce. It's kind of like a smaller version of the Safeway, I guess I could say. It's kind of an example.
So are you closer to the Best Stop? They're a convenience store for my terms.
Yes.
Select Market is a supermarket. They're selling produce, they're selling everything else. So the people who are going to go to a convenience store are not coming into, okay? So tell me what Center Market is. All I see is the liquor part of it. I want to know what the Center Market is.
So walking in, we have a large selection of beer, wine, some like household items that you would think of a convenience store would have. Like we won't have produce, but we do have like milk, just like all of like those convenient items you can think of.
Do you have hardware in there?
We don't have hardware now.
I would like Select Market to be up here too. Select Market to stand up there.
Yeah.
Select Market, please.
But I know, yeah, no problem, but go ahead.
Come on.
I mean, you're a supermarket.
Yeah, we're a supermarket.
Right.
Like a big store. These two are the same size. The Dale's is a little bit bigger. Center's Market's a little bit smaller.
What I'm trying to do is, in my mind, is what competitive advantage do we give one over the other? I'm just looking at that as a concept. It has nothing to do, but I'm trying to get an idea of what these stores are.
Right. We don't carry meat or produce.
You don't carry meat?
We do.
Yeah, you do.
The convenience stores don't. We do. We're a grocery store.
So what would you say is the difference between you and you?
We don't carry any produce. We don't carry any meat.
Right.
And we do have everything else. A lot of healthy snacks, a lot of just grab and go snacks, and beer, wine, sodas, all the drinks, hard deli, and plus we do have a drive-through window, and we are busy. We have probably more volume than any other store in town, and we are very, very well known in that community in a 3 town, not only in 1 town.
Okay.
And that's what I proud to serve that community and making my living nicely over there. And I have a very, very good experience, like 14 to 15 years in convenience store and 0 violation. And I proud myself. That's what I'm teaching to my son, and I love my mother.
So one of the things we have here at the commission is we all love the store-in-store concept, but as Commissioner Floyd mentioned to you, we're looking for that boutique, the different. We're asking color, we're asking for cost, we're asking for modernization of the experience in your beautiful city. And that's why we're asking these questions. And it does become a competitive advantage to have that boutique. And I just wanted to mention that. And I want to say, Chair, I'm finished with it. I'd like to address my question to the young man right here.
Go ahead.
You have, again, thank you, Bob. You showed us a photo.
Yes, sir.
Not a good one.
Not a good one?
No. Okay. So, I mean, from the photo, I don't know. I know you have security in the front. I know it's the security and everything is you know who's coming in and out of your store. But again, I'm gonna ask you this question one more time,
sir. If you look inside the store,
I'm talking about the outside.
Outside, okay.
Where are you gonna put your sign?
So we're gonna take that that sign down and put a new digital sign.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about the inside just so.
I don't know.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
to get people in, you got to take care of out.
Okay.
Okay.
So there, sir, if you see, there will be a new LED sign on the front.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a very good access on the left side that you can see the building from the far, pretty much the whole town.
Right.
Then we'll put a one sign on the left side and same thing on the right side.
Okay.
Our building is located in the very good. There's like nothing on the side, so you can see it from the whole town.
Okay.
So we'll put a sign on each side of the building.
Okay. And then also you're going to have your office, your security office of where you are going to be able to see your whole building. That's already in the back. That's not that's like down here somewhere where people are in the back in the warehouse.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you a question. Are you going to clean up the outside or leave it like it is?
We are, sir, planning on this summer. We're going to take a business loan. Like, sir, we start from the zero. We didn't have the money back then. But now we are established. So this year we are planning to completely redone the outside building. It will be done this year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
The photo just didn't do it right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, before we get to Grants Pass, we're going to take a 5-minute recess.
Perfect. Okay, Chair Rosenbaum, Commissioners, we'll get started again on Grants Pass. This comes as a result of Herb Heyer resignation, retirement officially. Herb, I was hoping he'd be here. He's been just an absolutely phenomenal agent. Called me before I left for vacation and just thanked the commission. You, the staff here, has just been so appreciative. Want it on the record because he's been an absolutely fantastic partner. He had 2 stores. This is a nice store. What it needs and what you're looking at today is really some redevelopment, reorganizing, and it's somebody else's fit to the store. I think he's been over 15 to 20 years total with Lebanon, Grants Pass, and Medford. Unfortunately, he didn't come today, but his efforts with the commission are phenomenal. So, with that said, it's approximately $4 million store. We have 6 applicants today, and this will take over, I think it's in June. So,
Does this PowerPoint talk? Ms. Bolander? Is the Bolander here? It's like, it's a what?
Let's give it a second because they're going to try. There's some background static noise.
So they're talking. They're saying Tony. All right.
So while we're waiting, this is going to be in the same store. And these proposals were in the same store.
Yeah, there's 6 proposals for the exact same store in the location. The last one was unique in that designed and it's moving out. So yeah, that's the complexity of the last one.
Yes. No question.
We get 7 minutes. This is 6 of them.
Right. Something.
5 people. Right. Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yep.
I'm gonna do 5 minutes. Fine.
Okay, so for all the presenters today, please, Mr. Ravola has asked to keep us somewhere at 5 minutes. If it goes over, it'll be as a result of the commission's questions. Hit the highlights, talk to the committee. Thank you so much. And with that, the next.
I'm excited and ready to be in this room. I know that I'm qualified to represent the state of I hope people will trust my ability to run and protect the employees' interests. I will actually be the interest of the control. I'm the council. Thank you all for the opportunity.
Do you have any other copies besides that?
Yes, that one is.
There's 3 copies.
Okay, make sure that you get them.
With the Chair Rosenbaum, with the new PowerPoint version, we do this, and then we have 3 for the record.
I would like one of them.
You bet.
Chair? Yeah. Excellent proposal. In regards to modernization, in regards to respect of the prior agent, in regards to the respect of his legacy and an additional modernization you're going to do for the store. One question. The question is in regards to giving back. Are you, and Brian didn't share with us, you currently are a liquor agent?
My husband.
So, where's your husband at, and where's the store? Okay, so you're going to be husband and wife. So you're asking for the store in Grants Pass, and you pretty much came up with him within his store, understanding what goes on, and then he has what's the city name? Lebanon. All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Is that where you two live?
You don't have to.
No, you don't have to do that.
Thank you very much.
No more questions. We'll bring up number 2, Travis Nichols. This will be a hard copy presentation.
Does Travis have a liquor store now?
Was Commissioner Harper. His father was appointed through expansion in a small. Was it Murphy or Selma? Murphy or.
His dad has a store where?
Murphy, just outside of Grants Pass. Small grocery store.
All right.
Thank you for giving me time on this. Travis Nichols. Grants Pass East. Let me start by saying I'm a much better retailer than I am at public speaking. A little bit about my background, pages 5 and 6. I'm going to kind of cruise through this. We have a couple of investments that I planned on. I'm currently the store director for Hidden Valley Market, a business my family owns. I operate the store with ownership level responsibilities. Hidden Valley Market is a full-service grocery store that now has a liquor store through the expansion program. My father is the agent at this location, although I oversee its operation. I've been in retail for 26 years and store-level management for 20 years. As well as managing independently owned and operated stores, for 5 years I managed for a regional corporate grocery chain. In 2010, my family bought an unprofitable convenience store and gas station. I used my retail experience to turn it around. In 2014, I matched the project with remodeling and opening Hidden Valley Market from a closed-down empty grocery store. I brought the sales from 0 to $4.3 million a year, which is more than double the previous corporate store that closed at the same location. I planned and implemented the liquor store expansion and soon remodel at Hidden Valley Market, including the minor control plan. 2019 will be our first full year of liquor sales at the store. I'm projecting around $500,000 in sales, utilizing only 23 feet of floor space. In this very small space, we currently carry 391 different SKUs of liquor. At Hidden Valley Market, I manage $400,000 in grocery inventory and $75,000 in liquor. I currently manage 25 to 30 employees, but have managed in the past at locations between 6 and 65. I developed and implemented a new unique marketing plan at Hidden Valley Market that increased store sales by 8% while increasing advertising expenses by 50%. Page 7 shows a few pictures of the liquor remodel that we did at my dad's store. You see a rendering of the liquor cabinets we made for the proposal and the actual completed liquor cabinets. You can see it looks very similar to what's happening. You'll also see our liquor sign that's on the fascia of our building. It matches our marquee. And you'll see the custom category signs that are lighted with LEDs that we made by a local craftsman. Pages 8 and 9 discuss my retail philosophy. I'm going to skip over those. That's why I feel that we've been successful in retail operations. Improvements to store 1214. The current agent of store 1214 runs an excellent store. There are some immediate and future improvements I would like to make to increase customer counts, sales per customer, and aesthetics. I'd work to put signs at both shopping center driveways. The current sign structures only have Safeway and Rite Aid are in major disrepair. Because of the extremely poor condition and age of the sign structures, I believe there's a strong probability of success in these negotiations. I would apply to be an Oregon Lottery retailer. I've worked with Oregon Lottery for many years. I would put an ATM. I would move pints and minis out from behind the counter into lockable glassware and cabinets, similar to what I had built in Valley. This would allow me to increase variety. I would change the vinyl graphics on the front windows to make it classier and less like your stereotypical liquor store. I would create high-quality category signs of the quality that you see here, not exactly the same, but the same quality. I would shift the center aisles back a few feet right off the bat so I can have displays at the front rather than the back of the store. I would re-merchandise the non-liquor to increase variety, general merchandise, craft beer, and wine to potentially greater customer counts. And I'd give it a paint and freshen up the decor, just keep it clean, fresh, and do a major where we get the future improvements. Add a combination of direct, indirect, and accent lighting, especially to highlight top shelf and items. Put in a walk-in beer cooler. Replace center store shelving to make it more upscale. Update the main liquor store to make your liquor sign to make it more eye-catching. Maintain classy. Bring in additional products that would fit the demographics and like creating additional liquor display units. How to increase sales. My expertise is in merchandising and marketing. These are the areas where we use to increase customer counts and sales per customer. Customer counts are the most important metric to track inquiries. We use craft beer and wine. These are demographic top shelf liquor customers. Marketing, I would create a high-quality ad flyer, similar to what we did at the grocery store. We produce this ourselves. So we pay you that monthly orders. We do it that way. Everything we can do to increase customer counts. That's the key to increasing sales. Social media, we use that extremely successfully. We run contests for ice chest classes, etc. Just to keep some forefront during the stock. Holiday posts, recipe posts. And to conclude, my skills and experience will enable me to successfully and responsibly increase sales and support development. That moves my way. Thank you for your time. Any questions?
Excellent proposal.
Thank you.
Valid spend, valid aid, in regards to number of students, in regards to using contact
Thank you very much. Sure. Okay, so under future improvements, that's where I was talking about, like a walk-in beer cooler, new sign out front. So immediate costs, there wouldn't be a whole lot of immediate costs. I mean, fresh paint, we're not talking about a lot, paint it ourselves. So nothing drastic, nothing more than a couple $1,000 updates. Once we got operating, and I remember what animal it was, because you got to know the animal before you tame it. Then we could look at and cash flow search coming in. Then we could look at updates, and that's where we compare what you're talking about. 25 grand, 30 grand, new signage, up to 12 grand, this kind of stuff. So that would not happen immediately to take over. So it would be everything I could do that would be cost effective and efficient immediately. And like marketing, I can do that immediately. And those are my pieces of merchandise. I can do that immediately. Yes, I have her. I've been in there. He's really sharp. He knows his stuff. It seems to be very helpful, and that's something that we would negotiate with takeovers. Like a couple of days within there with me, just so I get Tennessee's operation and how he does things, and decide what I would change that and how I would merge the other areas, which is successful. I was not. We were not a retailer at that. We got our contract later on.
Great question.
Well, thank you. I was just trying to talk as fast as I could. Okay, thank you very much.
Well, with that, to continue on, thanks, Travis. Next up is Michael Root.
Is he on the liquor store?
Mr. Harper, no.
Mr. Harper. Thank you.
His dad.
His father.
Mother.
So we have a husband, a dad,
A husband, a dad, and a mom.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Brian.
Okay, remember to state your name, and again, you'll have approximately 5 minutes.
My name is Michael Ruth. I have lived in Southern Oregon for 25 years. My family moved here when I was a kid because my mother was appointed as the agent of the Eagle Point liquor store. Growing up learning from her experiences, I decided at a young age that I wanted to own a liquor store. When I was in high school, I chose to do my senior project on owning a liquor store. As part of the project, I had to shadow a business person for a week. Instead, my mom went on vacation for a week, and I ran the store while she was gone. That's the moment that I really knew I wanted to own a liquor store. After that, I spent 6 years managing the store. During that time, I was involved in the expansion of the store and a full remodel. I then moved on to my current position at Southern Glazers because I wanted to stay in the industry but earn more money so I could one day, hopefully, purchase a liquor store. As the agent, I will be 100% committed to the store. This is the only store I want, and I will be working in it full time. My wife, Sasha, plans to work with me in the store part-time, and hopefully one day my daughter, Sydney, when she's old enough, will work with me also, just like I did with my mom. Herb, the current agent, has made a number of improvements to the store over the years. He has built a great business. I do not feel the need to completely change things that have been working. I do plan to enhance the store in key areas that I believe will improve upon customer service and increase sales. The most important thing to me will be customer service. Every customer will be greeted as they enter the store. I will work with the staff to make sure they are educated on the different spirit categories, to include production methods and what makes a $10 bottle different from a $50 bottle. They will learn individual brand information and be able to speak confidently to customers. This will help them to better service the customer's needs and aid in upselling. I will also regularly attend with at least one employee the yearly agent education put on by OLCC. I will implement an employee dress code, and all employees will wear name badges. This way, they will be easily identifiable to customers. To increase sales and be more accommodating to the community, I will extend the hours of operation by 1 hour each day, Monday through Saturday. Based on statistics from other stores that have increased their hours similarly, I should expect to see a 7 to 9% increase in sales. As with any change I make to the store, I will evaluate the impact on sales after an adequate amount of time, in this case, 9 to 12 months, and make changes if needed. To offer customers a better shopping experience, I will increase the selection of distilled spirits. I will perform a full store reset and add 12 feet of double-sided gondolas to accommodate new items. I will work with my OLCC district manager and liquor reps utilizing OLCC reports like the state's top 100 SKUs not in your store to determine which items should be added. I will also add any new items requested by customers. I plan to reconfigure the store layout to have a better flow. You can see these examples on page 9 through 11. For cosmetic improvements, I plan to add accents of wood and metal throughout the store to give it a modern look. I will also be painting the walls in a warm, inviting color palette. I plan to add new, larger category signs that match the store theme. The stereo system will be replaced with one that will allow music to be heard throughout the store and outside the entrance. A new security monitor will be mounted on the ceiling above the sales counter so the staff can better view the cameras. I will be looking into the possibility of refreshing the look of the exterior of the building to go along with the new theme inside, as well as updating the outdoor signage. My overall goal will be to have a clean, inviting, well-lit store from the outside in. As I will have this store for 30 plus years before I retire, I plan to refresh the look of the store every 7 to 10 years, as well as look at opportunities to expand or relocate if the business warrants it. I will utilize my vast merchandising experience to enhance the sales floor. Displays will be moved to the front of the store and will be a mix of seasonal and thematic. I will effectively cross-merchandise products on the shelf, in the cooler, and in displays. All signs will be printed. I will utilize new locking displays display cabinets to showcase high-end spirits, I will identify Oregon products with a shelf tag and have an Oregon Spirits section. As I hope you can see from my presentation, I have all the right skills to operate the store, as well as the drive to be successful. I have a vast network of mentors from within the industry to call upon whenever I may need assistance. My family supports me in this endeavor 110%. I feel that my experience is the perfect mix to prepare me to operate this store at the highest level, and that is why you should appoint me as the agent of Grants Pass Agency number 1214. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, this everybody stepping their game up. That's what I'm talking about. It's playoff time now. You gotta come back from OKC. Chair, I just have one question. Where do you, I know you shared working around, where do you live now in comparison to where the school is?
So I live in Medford, Oregon. It's just a city south of that. It's approximately 30 minutes from the front door of my house to the store. Yeah, I've actually, as a sales rep for Southern Wine and Spirits, I've called on him for the last 10 years, so I know him quite well.
This is sort of new information as a sales rep for Southern Wine. That's pretty big.
Yes. So I don't have exact data because there's not an updated census since that really took place. So the estimate of the population went from, I think in 2010 it was 34,000, the approximate is 37,000. However, from my knowledge that I've gathered from working with bars and restaurants in the area, the other liquor store with her, is that there's an influx of seasonal workers that have come in for that industry, and they do come into the store quite frequently and purchase higher end items. And you can see kind of from the data, there was a decline in the last year of 7% on the store. However, there was, if you look at that clearly, there was less customers, but they were spending more. They were buying up. So the people that are there are buying up. That downtick in sales is really due to the really bad fire season that we had there and all the smoke kind of pushing out tourists. And then as well as there's been a few small stores that have been added in the last 6 months around the store that were taking some from the small communities.
Next up, we'll have Gretchen Boris, and then behind that will be Patrick Boris, both existing operators. Why? You know he's sitting back.
I do. Ready?
That's it.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Gretchen Boris. I've been working alongside my husband Patrick in his 2 stores for the last 8 years. They're high volume stores. We currently, I'm going to say we, because there is no liquor store that operates with an I. We currently, our Grants Pass store is a $5 million store. Our Ashland store is a $3 million store. So in working the Grants Pass store, I'm more than capable to be able to get a Grants Pass store. I've loved and learned immensely working with American, but as any of you who have worked with spouses before know, it's nice to have your own baby. I'm already from my own baby. Not to say I wouldn't have the support of Herb, but already. Herb, as we've heard before, is an amazing agent. We work very closely. We're allies. We're not enemies. think that's becoming rarer. It's something that's really too long. I talk to his staff on a daily basis, and for customers that we work with bars back and forth, we ask each other for advice. He's going to be sorely missed, and I hope that he gets his store, that we are able to maintain the relationship as we're able to maintain further. That being said, Herb is an old school guy. He does things directly by the book, which is admired. But I think that store needs to be looked at. He needs to be ready for the next 12 to 10 years. And I'm ready to do that. If I may say. That's knowledgeable and that's accessible to be able to go in and explain things. There are many people who still, they're able to pour their rum and Coke, but they're not able to make a Negroni, or they have no idea what a mojito is. That's our job. Our job is to say, gosh, have you tried this? Have you tried this product with champagne in it? Have you done this cardamom bitter with the old-fashioned? That's our job, to make this accessible and interesting and bring them along as consumers in a responsible fashion. Our store in Grants Pass is in a sketchy neighborhood. So the staff that we have is managed staff for 16 years with us and with them. They're trained. They know that's important in a place like Grants Pass. This is my home. Where this is where I'm raising my grandchild. I have a responsibility to me, to our customers, and to you to run a store that is appropriately balanced between selling to the right people and for the right reason, and also making money. And I think we do that well. It's important for us. Our store, you don't walk in the store, our people mentioned before, you have to be brought into the store. We live in an area where they can go to California, half an hour either way from one of our stores. That's tough, because I cannot compete price-wise. But what I can compete with is better customer service, better selection, better merchandise, stores, and stores that are nice, so that I don't lose them to California. That's when the people are fantastic. The store between Grants Pass Herb store needs totally new signage. You need to be drawn into that store. It needs appropriately landscaped areas. Those windows are covered up. They have Mylar on them, covering them. It's not a welcoming thing. To me, if you have windows, first of all, I need windows. I need to know what's going on outside that parking lot, because that's my first defense to keeping minors away from that area. So that's important for me to see. And also, if I'm paying for windows in the storefront, I want that light coming in. I want that store to be beautiful. Flower and hanging baskets. If anyone has ever been to Grants Pass before, drive down the road and there are those big, beautiful baskets. I don't have those big, beautiful baskets outside in the store. New matting that matches. Currently, the matting in there is I'm sure that it needs to be a cohesive look. The store needs to be gorgeous. We would do flooring, we would do what we call inspirational tables, where we classify items.
Make closing statement.
The back room needs to be totally reconfigured. When they added on, they pretty much left the existing back And that's why when you walk in his store, there are cases of product. I want to shop a bunch of cardboard boxes with product in them. I want to shop a nice display. And I think we can move those cardboard boxes away and put up nice tables. We'll be increasing every part of that store. That store is huge. There is plenty of shelving to accommodate thousands of new items. And that's what we're doing. Thank you.
It also speaks to the impact that you have employees for 16 years.
Correct.
That's a lot.
It does. It's like it's our life.
With that, we will bring up Patrick Lewis.
Thank you.
You're the husband? Anything that you needed down there?
That's correct.
Okay. So do you guys have different visions for the store?
We do. Yeah. We do. A lot of the same vision.
Because I have to tell you, I think I'd be a little upset if my husband was blind.
And I gotta say, I'm very choked up. But ready when you and I anticipated 7 minutes, so I'm gonna jam through it. So like,
Go.
Okay. Good morning, Chairperson Rosenbaum and esteemed commissioners. Mr. March, my name is Patrick Boris, and I'm applying for vacancy of store 1214 Grants Pass East. Here are my reasons for believing that I am the most qualified and capable candidate assuming this position. My wife Gretchen and I have been happily married for over 32 years. Together, we've raised 6 amazing children. We have been a part of the Grants Pass community for over 28 years. Our friends reside here, we go to church here, and our grandchildren will grow up here. I've worked in the liquor industry for over 30 years. My first position was selling beer and wine for the Odom Corporation in Anchorage, Alaska. After moving to Southern Oregon, I worked in the Rogue Valley in sales for a local beer and wine distributor. I next took a position with Young's Market Company in their spirits division and was territory manager for all of Southern Oregon for over 17 years. While with Young's Market, I toured distilleries in several countries and have attended countless lectures from many of the industry leaders. I am one of the first in Oregon to be accredited with the postnominal of CSS, Certified Spirits Specialist. In an effort to keep up with industry trends and expand my product knowledge, I subscribe to several trade magazines and have a large library of cocktail and reference books. For the past 9 years, I've been store agent to Ashland Liquor Store and for nearly 5 years at the Grants Pass Downtown Liquor Store. In that time, I've worked hard to earn the trust and respect of the people of both Ashland and Grants Pass. When I took over these stores, they were showing a bit of wear. With help from friends in the Grants Pass community, graphic designer, sign producers, carpenters, and my incredibly talented wife, we were able to create completely different concepts, aesthetically pleasing shopping experiences. Before the commission, I was committed to remodel, update, and rejuvenate, which I did in short order. In the time that I've been agent to the 2 stores, I've expanded and improved the selection dramatically. We today offer a wide selection of mixers, bar supplies, craft beers, and local wines. We also offer non-alcoholic beverages, tobacco, cigars, and lottery games. My relationship with the OLCC has been nothing but positive. During my tenure, I've received only outstanding reviews and audits. Both stores have experienced significant growth and are often found on the OLCC's top 20 list for increased sales. I am blessed to have many outstanding employees. Our Grants Pass team is loaded with industry veterans. Combined, we represent over 60 years of industry experience. All of my employees are extremely conscientious and take the sale of alcohol very seriously. We are constantly on the lookout for visually intoxicated and underage persons. We work closely and have a good relationship with local law enforcement. The customer will not suffer, as I intend to retain as many of the employees of the Grants Pass East Liquor Store as are willing to stay. These are people that I know personally and would value their presence. My two greatest assets professionally are my wife, Gretchen, and my daughter, Presley. Both bring a great amount of experience and skill to the table. You have heard from Gretchen as to her qualifications. Presley has her bachelor's degree in business management from Portland State University. She already plays a significant role in our current operation and is eager to assume even greater responsibilities. Like her mother, she's a very remarkable woman. With help from some very talented people, I put together a design plan that I'm very excited to share with you. Starting at square one. Adding some curb appeal, we will introduce great new lighted exterior sign. The store name will be changed to Square One Liquors. We'll be using three-dimensional square design in our design concept. Colorful large ceramic pots with seasonal plantings will be placed outside the front door. The windows facing the front of the business will be cleaned up, and easy-to-read window graphics containing expanded store hours will be installed. The interior will change dramatically. Facing the front counter area, I have selected a beautiful ceramic tile in shades of gray, again carrying the cube theme. The counter will be resurfaced and poured concrete. The service counter will be lengthened to accommodate lotteries, something not currently offered on site. Custom boxes made of hardwood and brushed metal will stylishly conceal cash registers, credit card machines, and unsightly cords and cables. Everything on the wall behind the counter will be reworked and condensed. A large sign shouting Square One Liquors will be displayed prominently, creating a focal point. Lottery, scratch, and raffle games and a cigar humidor will be incorporated into the counter space as well. The general floor plan will change dramatically. There are 3 gondolas running from front to back. I will remove the front end shelving and install custom end caps in dark gray and aluminum for a clean and sophisticated look. The gondolas will be extended by 8 feet with matching shelving and will place the current wire shelves that house the store's wine selection. This will enable us to increase the wine selection and expand the mixer selection and create a much-needed Made in Oregon section showcasing Oregon's craft distillery. I've selected commercial-grade wood grain flooring of gray and black. The room will be freshly painted with white semi-gloss. Large, easy-to-read category sign there will be mounted over each section to make shopping easier. Custom display cases will be built and strategically placed to showcase high-end premium spirits. Large intertables with pendant lighting will be tastefully decorated to use in cross-merchandise spirits, mixers, and glassware. The entire front of the store is graced with floor-to-ceiling windows and are currently blocked by excessive amount of refrigeration units. I'll condense these units and free them up to allow more space and natural light. Local gift bags with gray and orange satin ribbon will be displayed randomly throughout the store. There will be substantial changes to the back stock room. One of the bathrooms there are 2, will become a secured area for tobacco storage. The false wall in the back will be removed to maximize the backroom space. The entire design plan is meant to be welcome inviting. Coupled with a friendly and knowledgeable staff, Square One Liquors will set a new standard for the liquor stores of Southern Oregon. I hope that I've effectively conveyed my vision and hope that you're as excited about bringing these changes to the Grants Pass community as I am. In closing, I believe that I have the experience and skills as well as the vision, passion, and drive to take Square One Liquors to the next level and beyond. If given this opportunity, I promise to follow through on all of my commitments to you before the upcoming Christmas season. Thank you for your time, and I apologize for the tears. Thank you.
I would also call this commercial hearings why you're here. What I see the passion that you have in such an exceptional
agent today with the two stores that you have. You mentioned in your proposal that you'd be willing to give up your Ashland store if we were to award you the Grants Pass store.
That is true.
So, wasn't Ashland your first store that you started?
It was.
Tell me about that experience.
Ashland's a great community. I'm sure you've probably been there before. You know, it's a very upscale community with the Shakespeare Theater. We have Southern Oregon University, a lot of restaurants, and you know, so it's a great community. I took over that store from an existing agent who had it for over 30 years in the same location right downtown Ashland. And it's been a great experience. I hired his help that was working for him when the manager had been there for at least 10 years prior to my being there as well. You know, it's, you know, I thoroughly enjoyed that location. I would love to keep that location. Unfortunately, current rules don't allow for a person to have 3 stores. Because I live in Grants Pass, you know, 5 minutes from my store, 10 minutes from the other store, and there's great upside potential to that store. I really enjoyed the process, as does my wife, of turning these once dated stores into show stores, you know, beautiful stores. And you know, I'm sure there are people here that would contest the 2 stores that I do have are beautiful, very nice, very modernized, and very well run. You know, once again, I reluctantly give up the Ashland liquor store, but I would, you know, be more than happy to have this aspect store.
Chair Rosenbaum, by policy, individuals cannot have more than 2 stores. And so in the event of a appointment already running 2 stores, they would resign and then it would open and advertise a different position. Because an individual.
That's not a you're willing to give up.
Two chances.
The greater the you know, she's never owned a store. There's extremely well-qualified competition. We would like to have this store. I would love for her to have this store. She deserves it. Yes, sir. I would prefer not to. I would prefer not to. Yes, I would. If however, we have people in place to manage these stores well, and I don't think it would be necessary to give it up. If she received the appointment, she and my daughter, would be the primaries. Obviously, she would be the agent running that store with my support. I would continue to run the 2 stores and have to bring on additional help because I'll be losing my piece in the hole here. Yes. Sure, I understand. Correct.
I don't know what we're going to do.
Right, sure, I understand. No, if you were to give it to Gretchen, I would keep the Ashland store. I've got, a team in place there that have been there for years, run a great store, and I'm hands-on there. I'm there 3 days a week. But I've got very good people that run that store, and it's a far less complicated store than, say, this Grants Pass store will be, or the Grants Pass store that I have, in that it's a non-exclusive, so we're just doing spirits and mixers. So it's, even though it's a good volume store, we've got it dialed in, and and I could certainly manage the 2 stores as well as support and help with whatever needs she may have. But she's cool. Cool.
Tell me your reasoning behind changing the name of the store.
Well, people know where that store is. I mean, changing the name is not going to, you won't lose any customers in that regard. And I just think that, we'd like to present a whole fresh, change. And like the concept, or like, the idea of people. And in fact, it's really not the east side of town. I mean, it's been referred to as Grants Pass East forever. It's the south end of town. But people know it as Grants Pass East. So, I didn't want to go with this. And we of course, have two different concepts. And, I mean, it's currently the Plaza. It's the Grants Pass East, but it's called the Plaza Liquor Store. But it's the liquor store out there in town. And it's, where people, go, they know where it is. And, so I don't think by changing the name, we'll lose any customers. Just what we do with the business will help us increase and gain customers.
Oh, hold on. Mr. Chairman, we have one more presenter. Yes, I'm sorry.
Brian is the prior liquor agent. Has he endorsed the
So Herb has not written any endorsement for any individual. Many of these folks have worked alongside him for the last, industry veterans. Yeah, so I think
it's hard work.
Yes. And last presenter, Tim. Please come to your stage.
Terry Rosenbaum, Director of Health. Good morning, commissioners. My name is Tim Woodhead. I'm the agent at Eugene Westside Liquor Store. I don't envy you the duty of choosing one person from this group of very qualified individuals. Sorry, this is not. Okay. My wife, Nina, who has joined me, and I have lived in Grants Pass for 24 years. We've raised 3 children there. We're very active in our community. Prior to getting my own store, I was a customer at this Grants Pass East store. We live 10 minutes away. Prior to being appointed agent at our Eugene store, I spent 19 years in the wine business, Ridgeview Winery. My wife was the business manager for the Road River School District. I have a degree in business management. Nina has degrees in both accounting and finance. We've both been running successful businesses for a very long time. Since getting my store, I've been staying at our apartment in Eugene for 4 days, then driving back to Grants Pass for 3 days. While I'm at home, my son Paul watches over the store, assisted by 2 longtime employees of ours. Paul can't be here today because today is our delivery day, so if I'm appointed as agent, I'll spend 5 days in Grants Pass and then 2 in Eugene. Nina will devote all of her time to the Grants Pass store, and we'll have our youngest daughter work in the business too. Both of them have already been involved with our Eugene store, so they know the system. This is not working, sorry guys. Okay. On a personal note, I've been involved in the Grants Pass community. I'm a member of the Grants Pass Active Club. We're a group that puts on a 4-day event over Memorial Day called Boatneck. It's a huge community event. Boatneck raises quite a lot of money for the community. We donate it all back to groups and events that benefit the children of our community. One of the many hats that I wear is as the chair of the scholarship committee. Our club hands out roughly 30 scholarships each year to deserving seniors at the 5 local high schools in the area. So this is the time of year when I'm scoring a whole lot of scholarship applications. I've also been a high school basketball referee. For 30 years, I've been fortunate enough to work 3 state championships. My wife is an accomplished musician. She's a member of our community orchestra and a benefactor to the music programs at the schools in our area. I also spent 3 years as the president of our Little League, 7 years as a soccer coach. Grants Pass is my home. I'm an active member of our small community. As to my Eugene store, it's a beautiful store. It's the type of store people want to shop in. Wide aisles, very clean, light, great selection. We've added beer, wine, growler station. We've increased the number of SKUs, especially on those products. Our sales have increased $500,000 in the 5 years that I've had the store. Most of that is on walk-up sales. And I would also point out that despite the fact that there's a new liquor store only 4 minutes from my store, We've still managed to increase sales each year. I run the type of store that people want to go to. My yearly evaluations have all been outstanding. Last month, Director Marks was kind enough to award Nina and I another 10 years at Gene Westside. As to the Grants Pass store, before, I mentioned that I've been shopping there for 9 years, so I've seen the changes over the years. The owner and the curb has been a very nice shop. That's why it's a $4 million store. That said, here are some of the improvements that I'd like to bring to the store. A new sign. As a longtime Grants Pass resident, I can attest that everyone knows where the store is. Still, we'll be putting up a new sign, bigger and visible from highway 199. Also, blue will be wearing this highway sign, hopefully add a sign of line. But I have in mind something similar to Grants Pass's iconic "It's the Climate" sign that leads visitors as they drive into new flooring. The wood panel flooring is in decent shape, but you can see spots where it's coming. It's just bad. I'm a fan of the acid stain flooring that I have in my store, which really holds up well. Updating the security cameras, I've just updated my security system in Eugene. A little bit similar to the Grants Pass store. Herb has a nice system, technology changes, and we can add to it. Window advertising. At our Eugene store, we're in the process of installing some friendly window overlays. That blue is in front of my windows. This is Herb does in front of his. So these overlays are an effective way to use some otherwise unused advertising. Increased hours. Currently, the Grants Pass store closes at 7. We will be extending the hours each day by an hour, similar to what I do at my Eugene store. That's an additional 7 hours per week. Product selection. At our Eugene store, we carry roughly 2,400 SKUs. We believe strongly in local products, local producers. We're bringing that same philosophy to the Grants Pass. My store is about the same size, so I'm probably finding space. In my years at Ridgeview Winery, I know how hard it is to get on the shelf. So I've been pretty open to giving the small guys a chance. We do a lot of store tastings in Eugene. I'll bring that same pattern to the Grants Pass store as well. Also, from my years at the winery, I got to know many of the restaurateurs in Grants Pass, and I've delivered wine to them over the years. I look forward to working with the local restaurants and bars again. At the Eugene store, we make deliveries 3 days a week. I'll bring that to Grants Pass as well. In Eugene, all the liquor store ought to cooperate and get along very well. I can promise you to be the same at Grants Pass. In conclusion, everyone here can run a liquor store. Be questioned and be promised, and we want that to be the successful family that lives family its way. We have trouble finding anyone more hands-on than me. I'm involved. We won't be hiring someone to run the store. We'll be there every day. In my humble opinion, Mr. and I are the right people to bring competition to the Grants Pass market. Thank you very much.
Chair, again, another stellar proposal. It's incredible being in front of such incredible 6 professional business people in regards to this store with the stakeholder value. You had mentioned that you would look at the local producers and you would be able to designate a specific area mapped out with them.
I have one in the Eugene store that it's right front and center.
For local?
All local, yes. It's a huge proponent.
Chair, Ramandeep Kaur is the permanent agent of store 1147, Willamina, effective May 1st, 2019.
Commissioner Curran,
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Harper,
Yes.
Commissioner Molinas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Chair Rosenbaum.
Yes.
Commissioner Curran?
Yes.
I move to appoint Michael Ruth as the permanent agent of store number 1214 Grants Pass East, effective May 1st, 2019.
Commissioner Curran,
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Harper,
Yes.
Commissioner Molinas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Chair Rosenbaum.
Yes. Thank you all. I'm just not saying that you understand that you were great, all of you. We really had a tough decision. That's the truth. Thank you.
Chair
Okay.
Rosenbaum, one last piece of administration for next week. The agent training meeting, if you are attending and have many of you signed up, even if it's last minute, let me know. Look forward to your attendance. It's going to be a great show. We have, I think, close to 260 or 70 liquor store agents and personnel coming, so we've got a huge audience this year.
And Brian, thank you again for all your help.
Yes.
Brian, do we have a I know we don't have this fine. I want to make last year kind of the reception part. Do we have that?
We do have it. The printed version, not quite to the printer, hopefully this afternoon, but I'll email you or at least get it to Laura, the agenda as it sits right now. It's always hard, but yes, I can absolutely do that. 11:30 on Tuesday. Yes, show you so much.
Okay. Hey, you're up. Everybody's leaving now, Renee. Is this okay?
It's okay.
Apparently, I know how to clear the room. So, Chair Rosenbaum, members of the Commission, for the record, my name is Renee Niermeyer. I'm the Director of Government Relations. I'm here today to report on the legislative session, and I'm happy to report we're halfway through it. The first chamber deadline passed last week, and the 2,700 plus bills that were introduced, about 1,100 didn't make it through that first house. That doesn't mean that those issues might not pop up in other bills later on, but at least we've gone through a portion of those. Now the House and the Senate are in the process of taking the floor vote on the bills that did pass out of committee. They're signing them to committee and just really this week, the first hearings are starting in the second house. What I just described is really the standard path for legislation going through the process. However, most of the bills that impact our agency aren't going to the state. In fact, what they've done is they've passed out a committee, and rather than simply enforced, they've been, most of them have been sent down to Ways and Means, which means Ways and Means bills don't have to meet legislative deadlines. Working through those processes and figuring out how much those cost. Chair Rosenbaum, Commissioner Harper, actually, a good portion of them are alcohols as well, and I'll talk about this. The bills that did not make it through, I thought I'd just hit a couple highlights. On the alcohol side, the changes for the legal limit for blood alcohol limit did not make it through. allowing the dispensing of malt beverages from mobile sources at non-fixed locations did not make it through. Obtaining legislative approval for implementation of an increase in the state market did not go through committee. And prorating the fee for brewery house public licenses for less than 1 year also did not make it through committee. On the marijuana side, the bill which removed the 20-pound marijuana the recreational side did not pass the committee. The couple of bills that dealt with public consumption of marijuana the process. A bill which allowed certain counties to adopt ordinances to increase taxes on production of marijuana did not pass. Nor did a bill that directed OLCC to develop an internet-based system for the delivery of marijuana products to medical card holders. And also a bill relating to banking institution banking, allowing banking institutions to organize a limited charge business. There were a lot of complications with that. The key bills that impact us that referred to Ways and Means, I think some of these will be very familiar to you. The Senate Bill 111, which is the omnibus bill for one. Here, that deals with deceptive labeling, the tonnage tax, and increased fines. And they were still working on some amendments for those, and we're working through the fiscal impact statement. The doubling of annual alcohol fees is also in Ways and Means. I expect that's going to be heard soon. Senate Bill 108 directs OLCC to separate a separate compensation for distillery agents and to move to a wholesale model for liquor agents. I think that was conversations. There's some issues with that, and we'll continue to work on those. We have House Bill 3386, also down in Ways and Means, which creates a new licensing system for distilled beverages and wine. And so we're working through some final amendments on that as well. And then Senate Bill 585, which directs OLCC to develop a responsible cannabis retail program. So those are the bills that are down in Ways and Means. In rules, we have Senate Bill 591, which deals with another wine bill, which deals with unlawful. We should be hearing more about that. So we do have a few bills that are working through the normal process, and there are 3 wine bills that are introduced by that address labeling, grape varieties, and content standards. Basically, ask OLCC to create an advisory board on both the rulemaking process, and that's passed the House. We have House Bill 2334, which reduces the violation of service permit violation from a misdemeanor to a maximum fine of $1,000. Passed the House. I didn't check to see whether it passed the Senate. Passed unanimously, so that should be going to the governor for signature. Senate Bill 218 was the moratorium on marijuana licenses. And it ran into a little bit of trouble in the House floor. It was referred down the rules. I expect it's going to be coming back shortly. That's we'll be watching that very closely. Senate Bill 247 requires registration. Bill that we're looking for to help get and that is scheduled for Senate vote soon. And House Bill 2098, that's a marijuana technical fix bill. And it also has a few other items in it, including allowing us to revoke a retailer's license for non-payment of taxes if they meet certain conditions. And it raises the current limit that can be assessed from 5,000 to 10,000. And we're also seeking an amendment that allows OLCC to issue a suspension, immediate suspension and ceasefire reasonably that a probable cause that a person within office. And that's passed the House. It's been referred to continuing that bill process. So those are the main bills that we're tracking. There's a whole lot of other smaller things. But the key dates coming up is next Wednesday, April 24th. Raising Subcommittee on Transportation and Economic Development. We're going to be talking a lot about our IT modernization project and then also talking about additional needs that have come up since the budgeting process, including getting additional help for alcohol service permit processing and human resources. And then on April 30th, OLCC will be going in front of the Joint Committee on Information and Technology. And that whole meeting will be on our So Chair Rosenbaum, members of the commission. So the Joint Information Management Technology can make a recommendation to the Ways and Means Committee. The Ways and Means Committee is the final. Actually, what happens is the subcommittee, which is who we're going for, makes a recommendation to the full Ways and Means Committee. So they won't be making a recommendation this week. They're just listening to us and asking questions. And then our legislative fiscal person, along with other folks, will make a recommendation that the committee themselves can make a recommendation. They will make the final determination. And then that recommendation goes to the full Ways and Means Committee for the final vote. The IT committee, and Chair Rosenbaum members of the commission, the IT committee will make a recommendation to the Joint Ways and Means Committee. So it doesn't matter about the timing because the Ways and Means Committee won't be taking any action. So the recommendation will be transported from so the Information Management and Technology, they make a recommendation. They send that to Ways and Means. The subcommittee. Okay, so let's kind of start from there. Yeah. Right, we're actually going to go in front of 3 aspects. So if you put it in like it's not chronological in how we're meeting with them, but this is how the process works. We go to the Joint Information Management Technology Committee. They're just going to they're going to make a recommendation on our modernization project. That's all they're going to take a look at. They want to look at that. So they're going to make a recommendation. That recommendation goes to the subcommittee, the Ways and Means Subcommittee on Transportation and Economic Development. they're going to make a recommendation. They're going to take that recommendation and fold that with all the other things that we're asking for and make the final recommendation on the budget. Then that whole budget goes to the Hallways and Use Committee and those recommendations. For the IT modernization, that's correct.
Mr. Chairman, but they won't make a recommendation.
No.
Dollars there, it'll be on timing of the project, the wisdom of the project, the features.
I understand that. That'll be a recommendation.
If they recommend against it, I probably would fully expect they'll make a favorable recommendation for what process they do. How long it takes, what timelines they have expectations of that, and our reports back to the legislature and the timing for their consideration of additional funding. Oversight.
Right. Chair Roosevelt, members of the committee, typically not. Typically what we do is we continue to work with our legislative fiscal analysts and work through that process.
And this subcommittee chairs develop the final recommendation. Future work session is scheduled so 2 to 4. It is generally pro forma. So there's a lot of this.
Yes. So the last thing I have is just the Speaker and the President have identified June 21st as the target date. They have a statute, they have until Sunday, June.
And so,
Chair Rosenbaum, Commissioner Davis. So that particular bill directed OLCC to develop agreements and
Okay. Thank you so much. You do a great job. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, well, final thing on the agenda is the commissioner feedback on OLCC business, not on the agenda. Anybody got any thoughts on? I have one, and Steve, and then we'll ask you. Meeting with the U.S. Attorney's Office and understanding the flood of marijuana in the state. I'm just thinking that, and I'm thinking out loud, that maybe the commission, we have to check with all the sources to make sure that there's no conflict or anything. But maybe the commission should hold some hearings over the summer. Maybe in conjunction with the U.S. Attorney's Office, or I'm sure you understand what I'm getting at. I'm having difficulty articulating it because I think there's a lot of hurdles that we have to clear before we do it. But I think we should, as a commission, think about holding some public hearings.
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. I think there's a couple opportunities depending on what happens with legislation. We've sort of built in for the work that we have to do. One is the export bill passing, and that it gives us room to make some recommendations on what a future system might look like to the legislature. So we have the opportunity to do that. And I think once the session closes and if that bill successfully makes it all the way through the process, or is it all the way through the process? I wasn't listening. I can't remember if that one's all the way through now or not, but it was moving pretty rapidly. The other one is the 218 that isn't really a moratorium. What it does is gives the commission the power to restrict, change licensing for producer marijuana licenses, and I think that's a particularly good opportunity. We're going to have to think about what we do out of the gates sort of immediately to, I think, affirm our stance where we want to do a temporary rule to sort of hold the position we're in. But we got to figure out what we want to do over the longer term too. So I think that's hearings of supply, what it looks like. So I think those are two really good opportunities for the commission to get around.
That's what.
Yeah. And then on the U.S. attorney part, I'm not sure that exactly what they would do with this, whether I did. I'd like to have an opportunity. I want to see in detail what our metric system does, how it operates, so I think there's an opportunity there within this law. I'm not sure what that is.
Well, let me throw something out. I'm thinking the inability of the state police to take a look at the hemp. There's apparently there's a great deal of hemp being transferred now throughout the state in which people have paperwork on it. And to the extent that law enforcement can't do anything about it, or won't do anything about it because they don't have any tools. I mean, those are the type of things that make me, I'm just throwing it out there, but I think we really need to. The only thing I'm concerned about, not concerned, the only thing I'm trying to make is I would like this commission to participate in this process during the summer, 2 or 3 or 4 different areas of the state, and we have to fine tune exactly what we're going at. That's what I'm asking you to do.
I just want to add an issue because it came up in the conversation right yesterday. 5 minutes from the state that we were road there, but I didn't watch it.
That was impressive.
FDA was on the phone. We ended up having a long conversation just about what's happening with our system in the state of marijuana. A lot of problems. Of course, standards, products. Airport now, we've got some certificates and all the rest of the needs and THC everything. So that's a whole issue that's coming squarely with our school in conjunction with how we do students. Lack of guidance and rules from the FDA was on the phone. Probably we had a long conversation. Didn't tell us really anything about the community. So listening to really respect. So there's that. I want to report out, if I may, have one other thing, and that is we did, and I think I'll go back to on that. We've been looking at our facilities. improvements, how we deal with people, personnel there. And then looking at the longer term of that, just warehouse maintenance. As congestion goes up around the city, the expansion of the number of trucks that are going to have in here 5, 10 years out. We got problems for our future operations. Everyone says you got to be 5 to 10 years out. So we conducted sort of a real estate-based study, just taking a look at what the marketplace is. Great news about that study was it presented us with an interesting opportunity. The bad news about it is it's not definitive. Mainly a real estate study done in Department of Administrative Services. Fishman Wakefield firm that looked at it and really sort of said, from a real estate perspective, now actually might be the time for OLCC consider making bolder moves in moving facilities respective. We generally talk about it with staff reporting. So what we've said before is if the long-term 5, 10 years out, we can play this real estate study left with more poignant, timely. We've got to get down and do some pencil punching and some homework right now to see if we can take advantage of some of the marketing and market opportunities that are available. And it's changed our stance in our legislative budget because now we're seeking some monies to conduct further economic analysis on top of business analysis on top of it. Action warehouse, and that's set up in the governor's budget. Do not include the roof over the primary warehouse. We would defer that anyway, that investment in the wake of this study. So we will circulate it to all the direction needing commissioners and let you take a look at it. It's not definitive, but it makes us think about doing our analysis quicker. Current market out. Don't want to worry staff or say this is we're meeting it. It was just that it was an opportunity for me to do our due diligence this much quicker. It's interesting. Must distribute statewide.
Anything else before we adjourn? Huh? We have to come back to it. Okay, the meeting's still open.
Just wanted to comment podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked it. I think there was a lot of great information. There's a lot of great info there. Our licensing to have that. Kind of hear that stuff happen. Great job, Mark. Hosting. I thought it was an enjoyable podcast. Message out. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, that was great. Thanks. Okay, let's go in and work with that. Go Gal.